Hello, welcome guys, welcome. First of all, yeah, if the voice and video, if everything is fine. What late OP? I keep saying, yeah, I'm always dot on time. Check your watch. It's 19.00. Even if only one people waiting, I'll start on time. I'll always be on time, guys. Uh, before we start, please let me know if audio and video is fine. Okay, all right. So, as we know, today is the birthday of Capablanca. So we'll be seeing lots of games, lots of positions, and we'll also know a few details, before we jump into the games. So let me start with yeah. Let me start with few information. Yeah, thanks, Neelav. Yeah, I can increase my voice. Yeah, okay. You know what? Let me put it in maximum. Audio should be fine now. So, Joe's role Capablanca. He was son of an army officer, Spanish army officer. He was born in Havana, Cuba, on 19 November 1988. Now, according to Capablanca, uh, he uh, he started playing chess just by looking at the games. Sound is low still. Wait a second. Is wait. Let me see if is this better now? Sound is better now, guys. I can wear the headphones, but anyway, I thought it's the same. Okay, thanks, Vansh. All right. So he was the third world champion from 1921 to 1927. Uh, he was a genius. We'll go through on this detail why he is called such a genius. He was widely renowned for his exceptional endgame skill, intuition, the speed of play. He was also known as Cuban Morphy. So basically, he learned to play chess at the age of 4 by watching his father's play with friends, and pointed out an illegal move by his father, and then won the game. So this is Capablanca's version. Like, that's how he learned, playing chess. So what is Capablanca's some of the records? Yeah. So one of the astonishing thing is, out of 485 official tournament games, between 1910 to 39, he only lost 26, and out of 119 match games between, for a phase of 30 years, he lost only 11. His ratio of loss was as low as 6%. Now, yeah, not necessarily all the games were recorded, but definitely he was one of the player who probably has the lowest uh, losing ratio. Before there are some more things I would like to share. How many of you know that Capablanca actually invented a chess game? Does anyone know? Does anyone know what are the rules, and what is Capablanca chess? So back in early 90s, Capablanca thought maybe the chess game will die soon. I mean, players will be making lots of draws, and at some point it will be nothing but theory. So then he came up with his own version of chess, and he invented a chess game. It's called Capablanca version of chess game. I personally never played a game on this, but it looks very interesting. So it's basically 10 by 10, and if you see, there are two special pieces: archbishop, which is like bishop and knight, so that is placed on c1, and if you look at f1, there is a chancellor which is like rook and knight. Now, recently I was thinking, actually, when I thought of streaming about Capablanca, and then I started to think about this, that if I have not mistaken, there is one piece in this entire board which is capable of mating uh, the black king. Sorry, it's 10 into 10 into 8, not 10 into 10. Thanks, Dips. It's 10 into 8. So there is one piece in this board which is capable of mating king alone. Like, it doesn't require a king support or anything. Just that one piece will be able to deliver mate. Any idea what that piece is? Can somebody think and tell? In this board, which piece can deliver mate alone without any help of king or pawn? Yeah, thanks, Harshit Singh. And wait, Priyangshu Kurana. Hey, happy birthday, Ronit. Chancellor? No, rook and knight you cannot mate. Imagine if the king is on a8 and rook and knight is on c8, I can still come to b7. Archbishop, that's right, archbishop. Rook and knight you cannot mate, there will always be a square. But if there is a king on a8, let's say, and archbishop is on c6, then from c6 it's giving a check as a bishop, and being a knight it controls the b8 and a7 square. So this is the only piece on c1 which can give mate, and I just wanted to share this. It's kind of yeah, Mohana is also right. It's bishop plus knight. Yeah, a lot of people said archbishop. All right. So Capablanca, at some point he was simply not losing games. Just he would go, like for a phase of 4 years, 5 years, he was unbeaten. Who is the player? Indian player. Okay, this is very, very easy. Who is the Indian player who defeated Capablanca? Just one more clue. I mean, I think everybody will say this. This was Hastings tournament 1930-31. The Indian won this game on 31st December of 1930. Vichy, I mean, come on, Krishna Singh. No, guys, look, what did I say when Capablanca was born? He was in like, yeah. Now, now everybody is getting it. Of course, it's Sultan Khan. Sultan Khan, he didn't know the rules of chess. I mean, he was playing in Indian rules of chess. He didn't know any theory. So he was a servant of a king, and when the king went to in the Western world, then he finally learned how to play in international rules, and then he defeated Capablanca and drew with Alekhine. There's a very good book written by Daniel King about Sultan Khan, which I'm yet to read. But yeah, this is I will definitely make another stream on Sultan Khan. Now let's get to some positions and games to see Capablanca's genius. So what is so special about Capablanca's play? Capablanca as a player, his play was, if you look, when we will look at his games, you will see it's very simple. Like, it's very easy to understand, it's very intuitive, and it was effortless. As a matter of fact, he never worked as such on openings, or he was not a hard worker at all. But he would play with intuition and just by natural talent, and somehow he was way ahead of time. So this game, right, was played in 1901, and some places it's a 1900. So basically Capablanca was what, 12 or 13 years old back then. And this game was kind of important because you see this guy Corzo, who is white in this game. He was the Cuban champion. So by that time already, Capablanca was pretty much beating everyone. And by winning this game, not this game but a match, you can see, it up it is written +4 -3. So Capablanca won 4 games, lost 3 games, and drew 6 games. By winning this match, Capablanca sort of became Cuban number 1, which he kept till his lifetime. By the way, throughout the stream you will see some photos as I go through games, and you will see some quotes by Capablanca. I am not reading them. I hope it is you guys can read it. He said many wise things, so I would emphasize that do read the quotes, as we go through the games. All right, so this game Capablanca was black. I will quickly go through. It started with Vienna, but then turned into King's Gambit. So I at least know one guy who plays King's Gambit and who hasn't changed the theory since 1900, but let's skip that. So yeah, this is like early 1900 game, so not much of theory. So first thing I spotted was as an intuitive player, Capablanca would always go for active play, and he was very sharp. So he went d5 here. So this is one thing that nowadays it's very common, but yeah, back in those days, I don't know how common it was. So takes, check, check, and okay, this is 12 or 13-year-old kid, and don't forget that he has no computer. He has not seen any Karpov or Botvinnik or Fischer or anything. There is knowledge was not today probably a 6-year-old kid will know more. So this is purely like without knowledge he is playing. And now this move, knight takes d4. So this was an interesting moment. Takes and queen c5. What is the point? This king is kind of getting mated, yeah? So if you take, I take, and that's mate. So his opponent played knight e2. Now I like the following move. Okay, I'll just ask the audience if you could suggest a move for black. I actually today be prepared for a longer stream, because last time for Tal I had few games and then I was kind of regretting why I didn't have more games. So today there will be many games, and yeah, hopefully you guys will enjoy. So black to play, guys. How would you play here? Queen takes c2 is a move, definitely, but watch out for queen takes f4. Bishop g4 is possible, but I'll take bishop in. Yeah, bishop g4 is possible actually. Maybe I'll play c3 or something. Oh, is that true, Abhik Mukherjee? Today is Sholil Chaudhury's birthday. I did not know that. I absolutely love Sholil Chaudhury's music. Just phenomenal. Thanks for letting me know. Yeah, I saw somebody asked me that how Capablanca played, without knowing theory. Trust me, I know there are, many grandmasters also watching this stream. I will give number of occasions where, you guys will not be able to find the exact moves unless you know it. So even without knowing, Capablanca played some incredible chess, back in 1900. So this was the starter. Capablanca's move is by far the strongest in the position, and which the engines also confirm. Queen b6. What a counterintuitive move by a 12-year or 13-year-old kid to play queen b6. And such a concrete idea, yeah. Like I understand, when you guys said bishop g4, or when you guys said queen c2, all these moves are most natural. But queen b6, I want to take. So you have to take queen takes b6. There is no other choice. I mean, you cannot stop bishop c5 otherwise. And this queen is anyway pinned, which means you cannot take on f4. So queen takes b6, a into b6. How do you stop bishop c5? You cannot, stop bishop c5. So knight d4, bishop c5, c3. Now it's very difficult to understand how far Capablanca saw, when he played queen b6. But I would imagine, it's just again my take on this, that I would imagine when he played queen b6, he must have calculated this. He must have seen knight d4 because that's the only move. Bishop c5, c3, and he must have seen the following move because the entire combination lies on that. Rook a4. Now, isn't this a beautiful thing? Yeah, just try to imagine a 12-year-old kid, in Cuba. Okay, Havana was very rich on chess. They had the chess culture. Morphy came there, and there were, Chigorin was there. But still, I think it's back then. It's a fascinating thing. So bishop e2. Now takes. So b3 kind of threatening bishop b2, knight f6, and then the game is pretty easy. And he finished a bit in a Morphy style. I'm not going to ask you, so I'll just show you here. So he takes knight takes h5, giving the rook on h8, and f3 takes knight f4, and white resigned because like everything is stuck. Oh no, white didn't resign. Sorry, white played 2 more moves. My bad. Check here, check, and now you cannot go to g1 because knight e2 is met. So he goes to e1, knight d3, and resigns. So this game was sort of important for Capablanca's kind of chess career because he, after winning this, he became Cuban #1. The next game was equally important, also very historical. This is against Frank Marshall, who is also the inventor of Marshall opening in Ruy Lopez. So Capablanca basically he joined the university as engineer, but then he left as engineer, and then he started pursuing his career in chess. And this year is 1909. He made a US trip. He played I have to check. Yeah, he played like 600 more than 600 games in 31 simultaneous, with a result of 571 wins, 13 loss, and 18 draws. And basically in this whole US trip he was crushing everyone, and in order to sort of conquer, he had one more obstacle, and that is the Frank Marshall, who was the best of world's leading player, best of US player as well, but also like one of the leading players in the world. So they played a match, and you can see the score at the top. Capablanca won 8 games, lost 1, drew 14, completely destroyed Marshall. So this is this particular game I enjoyed a lot. So I'll take you through that. Yeah, somebody is asking why I'm coughing. Yeah, it's not COVID, guys, but maybe I'm talking a lot of, and yeah, I should probably get some throat thing. So he played rook b8, queen e4, threatening bishop h3. What should black play? Guys, think a bit. I'll get something for my throat. Black to play. Niklesh, b4 bishop b2, I don't think it was possible because bishop takes b4 was happening in the previous game. Alright, queen f6, queen g5. Yeah, all natural moves. Capablanca played queen c7. Why rook b8? Why not b6? Rook b8 was meant to play b6, guys. If you play b6, white will simply take on a8 and give the queen. So that was the point of rook b8 first. So queen c7, rook c3, b5. Now you have to understand, back in 1909, people had a different kind of understanding in general. And even to understand that this position could be tricky for white, it was not easy. But Capablanca, started many things. For instance, this game was kind of important to understand what is pawn majority, because the position optically looks equal, and who would believe that a3 is actually a horrible move in this position. But I can totally imagine Marshall playing a3 on general ground. What is the general ground? Because okay, I'm keeping all the square on opposite to my bishop color, but a3 is like literally one of the worst possible move in this position, and the correct move was actually b3 in order to kind of stop these pawns. But it looks very innocent, right? a3. Just have a look at the game, how effortlessly. So when you look at Capablanca's game, this is what you get. Like, you will see how effortlessly he is winning. c4. First of all, since you played a3, okay, this square is weak, I will play a5 b4. Yeah, don't worry, Chandrasekhar, I am absolutely fine. So now we see, yeah, this rook is kind of stuck on c3. Rook d8. No rush, yeah, Capablanca in endgame. No rush. By the way, guys, did you read what is written on the quote? All these quotes are by Capablanca. In order to improve your game, you must study the endgame before everything else. For whereas the endings can be studied and mastered by themselves, the middle game and the opening must be studied in relation to the endgame. So Capablanca believed that in order to be a good player, you must know the endgame really well. Anyways, what is g6? Why did he play g6? Because he wants to play bishop d4, bishop d5, and after queen g4, he wants to play h5. So g6 does two things, yeah? Takes care of the king, back rank, and threatens bishop d5. So you see, also I noticed that all the strong players, right, they don't have any any rigid thoughts. So they are very flexible. Now, if you look at Capablanca's moves, yeah, he on the contrary kept all the pawns on white squares. So one could argue, like, why do you want to play g6? Probably you should play, keep it on h6. But no, they are not worried, or they are not afraid to break the tradition, break the rules. So all of them were very ahead of time. So g6 comes with a tempo because bishop d5 is threatened. So queen c6 wants to change queens. No, thank you. It's an interesting question. Why b3 was not played? Somebody asked right now, like, why instead of queen c6 not b3? No, bishop d5 is coming. No, yeah. So there is no time to play b3. Sure. So queen c6, queen e5. Check. And see that rook on c3 is not doing anything. And once again we can see it's just about these pawns are basically making sure the game is over. Rook c2 is coming. What do you do? Bishop d1. Okay, c3 takes, b2 takes. Remember g6? There is back rank is saved. So yeah, Capablanca won this game. So what was very interesting for me was, if I would go quickly from this position, yeah, like this position looks equal, but what went wrong? What did white he just played normal moves. I mean, is a3 such a big crime? And once again, we'll see many games like this. How effortlessly Capablanca is winning. All right, so the next one. This one is, yeah, this one is very the first. So Capablanca is from Cuba, yeah, Latin America, and this was his first trip, so called. Yeah, he played in San Sebastian. So first international tournament for him, and he is white here. He is playing against Bernstein. So far we saw some some very effortless, easy games. This position, guess what Capablanca played? Darshil is asking if last position, if the rooks are removed, still winning. With the bishop, yes. A4, yeah. Okay, I'm waiting still. Just give your own thoughts, yeah. What do you think Capablanca played here? Guys, for overtaker, please don't spam. I am reading all the channels. If sorry, I'm reading all the messages. If it is relevant, I'll read it. But if you write one time, it's already good enough. All right, one more time I have to give you timeout. Okay, Padmini says a3, queen g3 looks strong. Harshit, h6, king c6. No, queen h6 does not work, guys. e5. I would play a4, knight e7. So this is the thing again, yeah. A world champion, like a future world champion, super flexible. So that's why I chose this game, because it's slightly different from Capablanca style. If I would say, okay, let me rephrase it. Let's say Tal played this position. What move would you play? Had I said, this is Tal's episode. See, Vinayak Marar is he found the move. So this game is completely different. G4. Totally opposite of Capablanca's play. Rook e8. So attacking e4 goes f3. So knight e6. And now also I like the following move. He realized that this is the weakness, and if I can get this knight here and then I take here, then this guy falls. So knight e2. Queen takes a2. Knight g3. Who would say, I mean, this is a game played by Capablanca, yeah? Queen takes c2. Okay, first attacks the queen. You know why he's attacking the queen? Because he doesn't want queen c5. He doesn't want this change. So rook c1, queen b2, and now knight h5. So starting from this position, he played just a few moves and got all the way here. I was checking with computer this game and my local stockfish says black's best move here. I don't even want to ask you guys, because I don't think I would have found it in a game, or maybe I would have found it by elimination, is g5. Keeping this queen in this long diagonal and protecting h6. But you can imagine in 1911, playing g5 is just not happening. Really, it's not happening. So his opponent played rook h8, kind of protecting this pawn. But of course, now rook e2. Why he is playing rook e2? He wants to make sure this queen gets away from this g7 pawn. So queen e5, f4, moves, and now take. Now that the queen is not protecting this important square, because now, okay, now if you take, then I give knight f6 and I take knight takes d7. So plays knight c5, and yeah, Capablanca wins this game. So for me, this style was very interesting, like how Capablanca was, playing in different kind of style. By the way, somebody I saw in the chat, they said about Queen's Gambit. As a matter of fact, my next position is directly related with Queen's Gambit. So this is the position. Let me flip the board and let me change the scene. Guys, do you see the photo on top? It is from Queen's Gambit series. So Beth Harmon is playing against one of the player in the tournament. And if you closely look at the position, by the way, thanks Shahid for writing the article. It helped me also to recognize the game and the position, because in the series it was sort of very fast. Now if you look at the position with the rook d8, c8, queen on b6, bishop on b4, if you look at the diagram, this is the exact position, guys, you are seeing on the board. So Queen's Gambit, Kasparov was there in the advisory committee, so the kind of position they chose, it's very authentic, and they chose all the classics, very nice games. So this is one of them. Hemant Sharma is in chat. Is that real Hemant Sharma? Okay, I'll make you moderator then. Alright, so I just wanted to show this particular game because it featured in Queen's Gambit series in Netflix. I don't think they showed the entire game. There was a very pretty combination. So the only reason I chose was because it was featured in Queen's Gambit. So yeah, takes. Don't forget the quote: a passed pawn increase in strength as the number of pieces on the board diminishes. So I also thought this position is kind of resembles that. So yeah, in this position, Capablanca's opponent took knight c3. Okay, very quickly, how does black win here? Black to play and win. Yeah, Ilam Pathi is right. Yes, Priyansh. Yeah, so that was the game. Takes knight c3. Takes. Queen b2 and resigns. Let's go to the next one. This is also one of my favorite. Here, Nimzovich. This is a tournament in Riga, basically. Nimzovich played. What is this? G4. This is a bad move. But why is this a bad move? What Kappa played? I'll get some tea, guys. Ouch. Hey, চা দে না আমাকে একটু, চা দে না, একটু গরম জল করে দিতে পারল না, তুলসী জিঞ্জারটা খাবো, গলায় লাগছে। এখানে ফুটিয়ে দেবো, ওখান থেকে দিয়ে দে। So g4, two questions here, and this is even to all the strong players out there, and audience as well as grandmasters. What should black play, and what do you think about evaluation? What do you think Stockfish is thinking about this position? Black is better. Rook d4, b6 hangs. Yeah, guys, I was asking for T. What do you think? What is the evaluation? H5 is the move. Evaluation is 0.70. Anyone else? Who was there? Who else is there? Padmini is watching, right? What do you think is the evaluation? Also, if you are watching, I would love to hear what do you think about the evaluation. Mohana says bishop b5. Black is better. It's good for black. Bishop b5. Priyansh Patel. Vansh Panda is giving my Discord meanwhile. Alright, so the evaluation according to Stockfish is minus 2.25. Black is completely winning here. And Capablanca immediately found the move. So basically it looks like this is this is the target, but there is another target. So there is another target, and that is the rook. So Capablanca played the best move in the position, bishop b5. It threatens here, it threatens here. So Nimzowicz played, so Mohana was right, bishop b5, rook b1, bishop a6, again threatening c5. Now the problem is you cannot go back here because then this square is weak. I can put my bishop or rook. So he protects. Now rook e2. Rook e2 is again brilliant move because you want to take and you want to play c5. Sorry, you want to start with c5. What am I saying? You want to start with c5 next. So takes. Yeah, Nimzowicz didn't have a choice. Takes, rook e1. Takes, rook f1. And here also Capablanca's genius move. Of course, he was seeing this from a distance, and it's very important move here, c5. A beautiful deflection. Yeah, you're sort of getting out of this. If you take, then I take, and if you take on f3, then I take on d4. So bishop into f6. Now, well, computer says king f6. Actually, today I was also analyzing this position a bit. Capablanca played rook d1, bishop e5, takes, bishop g4. Now, I don't know what is exact evaluation of the position, but to me, whatever I looked through quickly, it felt winning. I think it was winning, so we cannot criticize. A4, this actually expedite things. Maybe white had to play bishop b8 and then a very complicated endgame. But anyways, probably even then it is winning. But I'll just show this endgame. Capablanca was called endgame genius. Here, a5. So now these two pawns are kind of weak. I'll go for those two, a4 and c2 pawns. So king e1, king d5, bishop d7, directly targeting this pawn. Bishop c7. King c6 is interesting because if bishop a5, there is b6. Uh, can somebody check if this is real Hemant Sharma? So bishop d8 here, and now b6. So b6 is, again, is a lovely move. I want to go king b7. So c4. King c3, and then take the pawn. And this endgame is now winning, but he showed a very good class here. First pushes the a pawn. And again, let's try to understand that he did not read any special endgame books. He did not have Doreski's endgame manual, or some. There was no table base. There was no engine. So he was figuring everything out on the board. Like, is this position winning or not? So he was figuring out things over the board. I really like the technique here. First, getting control of c4 square. Now creating a passed pawn on queen side. Bishop g6, playing for zugzwang. And now h4. So you cannot take because there is b2 is happening. And now takes, and to play h3. So as far as possible this pawns. And now bishop f5, stopping g4. So this bishop on f5 takes care of the diagonal. And finally, the king comes. Okay, the bishop is taboo. If you take, there is h2. And Nimzowitsch resigned. So this was one of Capablanca's classic endgame. Next one. Who knows about this position? White to play. It's a very famous position. So the thing is, it was said that Capablanca and Lasker played a blitz game, and then the following happened. Knight c7. So okay, black cannot take obviously here because then you take here. So takes, and now if you take king takes c7, it's a stalemate. And Capablanca played the only winning move here, rook a8 check, as Inampati said. That's fine. Rook a8 check is a fantastic move because if you take with the king, then the king pawn endgame is lost. And if you take with the knight, king c8, and you have to play knight c7 and king c7. This is winning. Now the thing is, Kasparov in his book, he writes the following. He writes that it was given that black resigned, but however, it is hard to imagine what was black's last move before the diagram position. So what did black play in the current position? So he says, at any rate, even the players repaired the position and published a joint study in the newspaper, I cannot pronounce it, Voische Zeitung, on 26 July 1914, where the black black knight was on e6 and white king was on d7. So that is how they published the position. And so we don't know if this was played or not, but it's kind of cute. All right. So when I saw the following game, I'm totally convinced, like, if I get some 2600 and show this game as on today and say that white was Magnus Carlsen, and if I show this convincingly, not a single player, no matter what is their strength, will deny. Because when I went through the game, I kind of checked again and again, like where did black go wrong and what was black's mistake. So I will quickly take you through the game. Uh, when I look like when I looked at this game, it felt like, like Carlsen is beating Wesley in this anti-Berlin. I'm sure some people will be able to recall the game and then know what I exactly mean. So this is Capablanca and Janowski, who was also a very well-known player. So this, first of all, this resembles very much, it's Spanish exchange, but it soon got into the d3 bishop c5 Berlin. And look at this game, bishop e3. It feels like such a modern chess. Queen e1, standard, and okay, castle. I cannot say it's not such a not such an unusual move. And rook b1. So the first thing, yeah, I'm pretty sure anyone would play rook b1 here, but again and again, we are talking about 1915. And look at this game, b4. To be honest, I did not even turn on engine in this game because I just wanted to understand myself where black went wrong. Okay, long castle is one, but after that, okay, f6, and you want to get your knight to d6, kind of makes sense. b6, trying to make sure that there is no b5 b6, but okay, now d5 square is weak. c4, another fantastic move. You want to play d4, so you first play c4, then protect this guy and then go d4. Getting ready to play d4. Again, getting ready to play d4. Look at this monster on d5, yeah? Nothing can be done about that. And now you got d4, your d5 knight is kind of a shield, so nothing can attack on d4. Now you go for c5. And c5 is happening. Resigns. I don't know how you guys felt about this game. For me, this was like, wow. How was the game, guys? Effortless, right? Yeah, Capablanca wrote many books, of course. Now, yeah, before I move to next game, I just wanted to know how you guys like this game. I also felt it's very precise. I'll just quickly, it feels like, I can totally imagine some Magnus playing this game. Simple, direct. Next game, this made a huge impression on me when I saw it for the first time. By the way, the quotes keep changing, so do read this quote. It's a very useful quote. Yeah. Hey, thanks Ronak for joining. You may learn much more from a game you lose than from a game you win. You will have to lose hundreds of games before becoming a good player. I heard this, when I was like, under 10 player. I was told that Capablanca said something like this. So this particular position and the following move which Capablanca played, to be honest, when I saw first time, it did not create any impression on me because I was not, let's say, matured enough to understand. But when I looked, when I became slightly better player, then when I looked at this move, my first impression was, who told him this? I don't care what engine says. Actually, engine doesn't even approve the move Capablanca played here. But really, that is immaterial. So in 1916, how he comes up with such an concept? this was very this particular move created a huge impression on me, huge. So anyone knows this game or knows the move? Again, if you put it on engine, it kind of ruins it because it will say, okay, this is not the best move. But I will just show you the move and show you the game. Yeah, Ronak, of course I know you know this game. Someone is asking which free engine is best for analyzing your own mind. So Capablanca played here bishop d7. Now imagine this, yeah, like back in those days, there was a principle, right? Like you develop only once, you don't want to make same piece, you don't want to move again and again. Yeah, Padmini, I know that you know. Bishop d7. Uh, Again, engine does not approve this, but look at the look how the game went. I know when I drink in this glass, this is tulsi ginger tea, but people keep thinking like this is some kind of alcohol or something. No, guys, this is tulsi ginger tea for my throat. So bishop d7. Why he played bishop d7? We'll see. E6. So in other words, right? We would like to get. We would like to get bishop f5 first and then play e6. So why did he play bishop d7 and e6? It looks so so naive. But okay, let's see the game. So he voluntarily went bishop d7, e6, and now we will see the idea of bishop d7. Rook to c8, knight a5. Now you see what this bishop is doing on d7. So eventually what will happen is I'll get b5 and knight to c4. Knight d2, probably, yeah, white was kind of threatening e4. So stops that. b5. And knight c4. Look at this bishop now. King f7, just to make sure that if you play a5, I want to keep my bishop here, and eventually one day I'll play b5, b4. This bishop is actually doing a fantastic job because I'll play b4 and this guy will be weak. And what about this, sir? Where are you going to put this? If you could get the knight here, then absolutely fine, but that's not happening. Okay, I'm threatening b4. This guy is weak. Again, look at the effortlessness. He prepared every single thing to play b4. Every single thing, like starting from bishop d7, every single thing was on queen side. And then suddenly, he says, I can play b4. I will play b4. But you know what? First, let me play this side also. And again, threat is better than execution. Yeah. So he says, okay, I have b4. But you know what? Let me come from g file. You see the flexibility? So now he suddenly realized that, okay, my idea was, I wanted to play b4. All your pieces are stuck there. Let me get to g file now. And now this is like completely different level again. Now he wants this bishop to get activated. Where he wants to reach? It wants to reach here. What is the path? This is the path. So b4. And yeah, and basically then after a few moves, White resigned. So I just want to make emphasize on one point for those who are using engine or theory, what opening I should play and all those things. This guy, no, I mean trust me, during the lockdown you probably already know more theory than what Capablanca knew for sure. And look at this game, yeah. How somebody can come up with such a long strategy of getting the bishop to d7 and then you know play b5, threatening b4, and then you prepare everything for b4, and then you come to king side, open up the king side, get your rook there, and now again when you lock everything on king side, and then you play b4, and then you go this side. Hey, thanks Kidu, I was waiting for you to join. So guys, while making this preparing this material, I saw Kidambi has got wrote a fantastic article. You know what, let me pin that here. And Kidu has my greatest respect when it comes to classics and anything. So I will copy paste the article which Kidu wrote, and I'll pin it. And I made sure that I don't follow those games, because I want all of you, after this stream gets over, then you find time and follow the one which Kidu wrote. So I will pin this, and trust me, you will learn a lot. And thanks Kidambi for writing such a lovely article. Some of the things I also did not know. I knew most of them, but some things were fascinating. So once the stream is over, go to the site, and you'll get more idea about Capablanca's games. So let's move on to our next game. So this was Janowski. This game was historically extremely important. Why it was very important? This is Frank Marshall. And once again guys, that you can always read the chess quotes, which is constantly changing. I got as many quotes as I could get. Some very wise thoughts of Capablanca's. Now this game, so already, right, hang on, yeah, so wait, I missed something. Yeah, actually there was something I wanted to say here. After Capablanca, where was this? You remember this game we saw in Berlin? So Capablanca was in fantastic form, leading the tournament, but then he lost to Lasker and finished second behind him. Emanuel Lasker was from Germany, who was world champion for like 27 years. And then after this, like prior to this, they wanted to have a match, but Lasker had given some kind of conditions. Let me find that. Maybe Kidu can help me. Yeah. So remember this game we saw at the very beginning. So after Capablanca won the San Sebastian tournament, Capablanca directly wrote to Lasker, who was world champion, and he demanded a match. Now guys, back then there were no World Chess Federation and all. So basically, if you find sponsor, you challenge world champion, and then world champion kind of decides whether he wants to play or not. So Capablanca wrote to Lasker that he wants to play a world championship match for the title. Lasker within few days replied that he is ready to play the match, but these are the following clause. What were the clause? The match, the winner will be the player who will win first six games. Draws are not counted, but there will be a limit of 30 games. And within 30 games, if you don't win 6 games, then the challenger would have to have a 2 points lead. So like if you have like something like 1 point lead, then still world champion will remain world champion. And for me, hilarious was the time control. Time control, Lasker suggested 12 moves in 1 hour. A session should not be more than 5 hours a day. There will be a break of 2.5 hours for dinner and rest. But challenger would secure $10,000 as prize money. And this we are talking about 1911, which was huge. But Capablanca refused. Capablanca refused to this 2 points rule, and the match did not happen. Then we saw, then we saw some game. Yeah, and then somewhere around 1913, when we saw this Nimzovich game, in September 1913, Capablanca got a job in Cuban Foreign Office, and his job was to play chess and promote Cuba. All right, then then we came to this game. Here I wanted to share that Capablanca was in fantastic form, and then last round he lost to Lasker, and Lasker was champion and Capablanca was second, and they kind of, again the match talk started, and at this point they thought, the world championship match will be feasible. Capablanca, in his own words, said that my poor physical condition and Lasker's super form at the finish sums it up. At any rate, it was clear that we are the top 2 players of the world, and only a proper match would decide who is the best. I hope the match comes soon, as I don't want to play an old man, but a master in the plenitude of his powers. So he actually wanted to play with a young, like sort of not the old Lasker, but when Lasker is at his best. Everybody thought the match would begin, but something else happened. Something else started. First World War started, and due to First World War, nothing could be arranged. So anyways, now we are back to this Marshall game. So when the First World War started, then Capablanca naturally returned to America, and then for a couple of years he was basically restricted there, and he was playing tournaments there. Somewhere in 1915, 16 and 18 he won the New York tournament. This game is very important because the following happened. What is the name of this opening, guys? What is the name of this opening? Oh, chat is suddenly standstill. Like, I hope it is engaging. It's not like you guys are getting bored with all these stories. I generally like all this, historical things. Also to know about the world champions and this is Marshall Attack, of course. Of course, it's Marshall Attack. So why this game was important? This was the third game in the history of Marshall Attack. The first one, kind of went unnoticed. It was played in Havana. The very first game, it was not played by Marshall. It was played by someone else. But the second game was played by Marshall in the year 1917, which he crushed. I'll quickly show the game. So the first Marshall game by Marshall was the following. I just very quickly went through it. So this was the first Marshall game, Marshall Gambit by Marshall himself. So this game was important because he is facing Capablanca, like world top 2, and he plays Marshall, and Capablanca is facing at the board. Now Capablanca, being Capablanca, he accepts the challenge, and this is a novelty, guys. This is a novelty. I don't know how many games have been played. How many what kind of analysis has been done by now, but this was the first game in Marshall. Marshall had to wait 1 year. The other game was played in 1893. Hey, thanks Sundarajan. Sudarshan, thanks Sudarshan, sorry. Thank you. I'm glad you guys are enjoying. So in this game, this is 1918. In this game, Marshall played knight f6. Now we know c6 is the main theory. which Marshall introduced in the year 1938. So this game, it was knight f6, rook e1, bishop d6. And of course, I mean, you can imagine, Capablanca was not a hard worker. He was figuring out everything on the board. And yeah, it does look scary. Bishop h2 is coming, then knight g4 is there, rook queen h4 is there. Yeah, Kidu. I also checked in Mega. Marshall's game was not the first one, at least according to Mega. But as we have Kidu, as we have already discussed, yeah, like not necessarily Mega is right all the time. So queen f3, queen h4, d4, allowing knight f2. So now there is, okay, of course not queen f2 because there is bishop g3, but rook e2. Capablanca says, okay, for knight g4, he was expecting knight g4, but then there is g3 and queen takes a8. Yes, Kidu, I don't check Mega. If I am in doubt, I am usually asking you. Bishop g4, hg4. It looks scary, but nothing happens. Bishop h2 check, king f1. And now once again, Capablanca said he was expecting the following move, which is aesthetically very cute. Knight h1. Threatening knight g3 mate. But Kappa is ice cool. Bishop e3 he wanted. Knight g3 check. King e1. Nothing happens. Whatever discover check you want to give, you give. I don't care. So anyway, Marshall did not play knight h1. Bishop g3. So again, it kind of looks scary. And I mean, look at the pieces, yeah? But it's very concrete. What was the thing? Yeah, exactly. You cannot take... Sorry, Ilampart, I missed it. Queen f2, bishop h2, king f1, bishop g3? When? Yes, of course. If here, then... But why do I need bishop? Yes, that's a beauty. Oh, thanks for spotting this. Of course, check is important because if I play first bishop g3, there is queen takes f7, rook takes f7 and rook e8 mate. So it's important to have bishop h2, check, force king f1 and then play bishop g3, so there is check. So that's why it's good, guys. It's good to... I feel very happy when you guys join in the stream and, spot such things. Yeah, absolutely, that was the point. That's why he did not take queen takes f2. Rook e2. And yeah, then bishop g3, threatening queen h1, takes. Check here. Now, I don't know how authentic it is, but from the, like vague memory that I have, I read somewhere that it is this move that Marshall missed. Also, again, very vague, like Marshall missed in his preparation, but I don't somehow trust this. Maybe the fact is, he missed the following move on the board. But yeah, it's a very simple and very interesting. Just bishop d2. Just I'm stopping this check. So bishop h4. Now he changes the queen. King d3. King c2. Absolutely no problem, yeah? And complete consolidating. What happens for if rook e2? Probably, what do I do after rook e2? If knight a... I can play knight a3, yeah? I can play knight a3 because you... No, I cannot play knight a3. Maybe I can. Take, you take here, I take here, you take here, I play knight c2. Or maybe I'm missing something. Maybe rook e2 there is some better move. You know what, rook e2, sorry. Maybe rook e2 I can even say I don't want to do anything and I can play f4. Maybe. So, queen g1. Bishop d5. Why did he play bishop d5? I'm just trying to think right here. So maybe queen d1. Yeah, just complete control. Also again, no inhibition. Yeah, like just you open up the position completely. Finally, all the pieces are developed and yeah, Marshall resigned here. So I thought this game was historically very important, like Marshall playing Marshall against Capablanca. Next game, if you do not know, uh, mostly you guys, all of you know, and it's very much possible that this is one game that I took from Kidambi's article. Also, I think this game was mentioned, but I thought this game I have to show. Just a second. Yeah, so this game I really have to show. So Capablanca is playing against Winter William, and as you can see in the quote, yeah, in chess, as played by a good player, logic and imagination must go hand in hand, compensating each other. So knight d5, a mistake. By the way, guys, I this one I checked with computer, not like when did I check? I think before making my Kramnik episode, I checked this, and to be honest, computer just doesn't understand this. Knight d5, Capablanca plays g5 on the perfect timing, yeah. Because why g5? Because now you cannot take. Then I take knight into d5. So bishop. Yeah. So first he has to take. Bishop g3, and now bishop g4. Now I'm sure Capablanca felt this position is winning. As I mean, looking at this position today, I also feel black should be close to winning. The problem, right, in this position, again, look, which bishop is bad? My bishop has got like all the squares on the like same squares, like all the pawns are on same square as my bishop. But if you ask one simple question, where this bishop is going, it's dead. It's dead. It will be buried there. Nothing can change. Most likely, Kidambi mentions this game in his article and gives a reference to short Kramnik. Yeah, you see, he's not bothered. He's not bothered. He's ready to put all his pawns. I mean, look at his pawns. But this bishop is 100 times stronger than this bishop, because the g3 bishop is never going anywhere. G3 bishop is like a pawn, but d6 bishop is actually a free piece. So black is a piece up. Ishan Nadkari, I think your question, the final position, I can play bishop e3. I think I can play bishop e3. So a4. Now king f7. So all black is saying, this bishop is dead, and I'll play against that. You do whatever you want to do, but your bishop is not getting out. And now it is just opening. You can have your h5. You can do whatever you want. I will play b5. I have a target on queen side, and you are playing a piece down. I'm getting b5 slowly, but I will get. All I need, I have to just open the game, because that bishop is dead. Basically, yeah, just effortlessly he won. And of course, I don't want to take. I mean, I just want to maintain my e5 and g5 pawn. And white resigned. This guy never came in the game. So this is a classic, but I'm sure most of you knew it. Another classic, masterpiece of endgame. Who all knows this endgame? Who have seen this position? So I also like this quote, yeah? When you sit down to play a game, you should think only about the position, but not about the opponent. Whether chess is regarded as a science or an art or a sport, all the same psychology bears no relation to it and only stands in the way of real chess. So when you are playing chess, is just the position and nothing else. So white is a pawn up, but I kind of like the way Capablanca won. I don't know, for some of you this could be very easy. but it is a bit instructive. Okay, you go to king pawn endgame, but there is one practical problem. Black king is very active and black will play d5, and then you will not be able to take because black king will just come very quickly. This guy is here. So a4. So when he took here, his idea was to play a4. Now again, this is very deep. Capablanca, how many books he read on endgames? We don't know. Definitely not, let's say not more than Ilam Parthi. So, I mean, just any young players today, all of us have got so much knowledge in general, but he's finding things over the board. a4, making sure that black doesn't get a4. b3. Seriously? I mean, you want to give a connected passed pawn. So basically, from one pawn being one pawn up, I mean, he could play something like, I don't know, 97 or 93 or something else, yeah. But takes a4, d5, and you allow a pawn here, which means, now just look at this. This king is kind of restricted here, and you have got a double pawn here. So how do you create a passed pawn? But of course, by now I'm pretty sure Capablanca knew what he was doing. f4, and this endgame is completely winning. So now it's a funny race, yeah. At some point I can play h4, h5. So your king has this box, my king has this box. Sorry. So you see, your king has that box because my pawn will be on here. My king has this box, and then I have the break. I'll play b4. My king being here will take care of these two pawns, but either of this pawn will start pushing, and then you have to leave the square. h4, b4. So now again I am in the box. So I am controlling the square. And you cannot. I know it's simple, but still I found it instructive. So finally, where was this? Yeah, so finally the match, the famous match. Alright, first the quote, yeah. 90% of the book variations have no great value because either they contain mistakes or they are based on fallacious assumptions. Just forget about the openings and spend all that time on endings. Capablanca. So let's speak about this match a little bit. So early 1920s. Remember in 1914 the match was supposed to take place, but the World War broke, right? And now we are in 1920s. So in early 1920s, Capablanca met Lasker in Hague. Hague is in Netherlands, and signed agreement for the match. Lasker wanted to play in Holland or United States, but there was no sponsor. By summer, Lasker felt that there is basically no hope. He even gave his title. He said, I cannot find sponsor, and Capablanca is the new world champion. But the chess world could not accept this. I mean, Lasker has been world champion for 27 years, and he cannot just say, okay, there is no sponsor, so Capablanca becomes world champion. So who interfered? The Cuba, yeah, basically the Havana admirers. They sponsored the event. The match took place in Havana, and the prize fund was $20,000. 1921. It was like a record back then. So, and financially completely ruined by the war. I mean, Lasker was from Germany. Financially completely ruined by the war. He did not object to this. So he decided to play in Cuba. The time control was 30 moves in 2 hours. Best of 24 games. But the problem, right, it was in summer, and Blasker was by then 50 plus, something like 51 or 52. So, and it was in Cuba, it's like super hot, and Lasker was completely exhausted. Also, Capablanca was already by then much better player. This particular game kind of showed the class difference. I really like this game, and you can see the score. It was like devastating. So the thing was like they were supposed to play for 24 games, but after first 14 games, Capablanca had won 4 games and drew 10 games. And at this point, at the advice of doctor, Lasker basically resigned the match, and it ended ahead of schedule. So now this particular game is also very instructive. Lasker played Queen B3. In this match also there were very nice games. I particularly like this one. I also like, Capablanca's approach, this unconventional approach. So he has again no fixed mindset. It's like very flexible, yeah, very concrete. Bishop c6 takes bc6. Now just let's take a pause here. Last 2 moves, yeah, and again we are seeing games from 1921. What do you think? Is bc6 a good move? Is it bad move? This is the strongest move in the position. And how someone comes up with such things, yeah, like, okay, I give my bishop, I take with the pawn. Particularly, like, he was planning, I mean, he could play bishop a6 here if he wanted to keep. But here, take, and now white has this weakness. This guy is weak. White made a mistake here. He had to play rook e5. He had to play queen c4. He played rook e5. Queen b6, and already computer thinks, black is kind of clearly better. This is under attack. Rook takes d5. Again, Capablanca's. Yeah, like we know, okay, knight is a good blockader and all, but no, okay. I want to fix my structure now. And at first glance, yeah, like at first glance, if you look at this position from the starting position, it is not even clear what kind of progress black made. But this position is actually completely better for black. I mean, from a practical point of view. Also like objectively, I mean, if you put objectively, if you put engine, then you will see black is just killing here, because this weakness is kind of too much, and I am getting this file, my queen, my knight, everything is kind of attacking. Yeah. b3. Now what Lasker played, again and again I was saying this, like such move existed centuries before. Just that some, you guys are not aware, but people were coming up with h5 h4 for centuries. So, and who taught them? There were no alpha 0. So they were doing it on the board. They simply figured things out. So you know what? Often nowadays we try to memorize everything. We kind of underestimate our own intelligence and intuition. Now if there is h5, we will say, yeah, alpha 0, yeah, I checked with Stockfish. This guy was sitting there and figuring things out on his own, without any super knowledge or something. Rook c6. Why rook c6? Because I guess, yeah, I want to have this or here, and I'm sorry, this or here. Yeah, I would imagine. Yeah. King f1. Again, no rush. Everything is fixed. So why don't I make a square? Nobody is going anywhere. Anyway, this pawn is so weak. Now queen b4. So white is in a hopeless position. He just doesn't know how to play. And this is world championship match is happening. Now a5. So why did he play a5? Okay, he just wants to play a4, and then, okay, if you take, I'll take, and then I'll play for these 2 pawns. And now, what do you do about these two? And look at my this pawn, yeah? It was played in such an, like from a distance he realized that pawn on h4 kind of blocks everything on king side, which means my knight is super safe. You can never play g4. Look at the class, yeah? First place rook b6, if you play rook b2, I have rook b4. So you come to d3, now I come to a6, I want to go to a2. I know maybe in today's day the young grandmasters will say, okay, ispe kya hai, like we can play like this, but I think it's a different class altogether. Now again here, yeah, this knight is so good on f5, but as I keep saying, Kappa never had any kind of prejudice. Yeah, he immediately realized there is a better square. I can get here. My knight will be here. It's looking at d4. Look at this rook. No, this rook b1 move. Yeah. Now such a zugzwang, nothing moves. B pawn doesn't move. Rook does not move. D1 knight doesn't move because I have rook b2 check. So what are you going to do? Yeah, Hemant, you are right. Rook a6 would have also allowed rook b2. True. So yeah, plays king e2, but now takes. But I also don't know what else to suggest, because if king e1, I'll play rook a1. So there is a reason why people always said, Capablanca is a genius, and his endgame technique. Uh, he was famous for his endgame technique. Look, no rush, very slowly. Look at this last three moves. Yeah, like I'm restricting you completely. This is world championship match. Yeah. Okay, let me come slowly. Finally, if I. Yeah, Capablanca won this game. All right, let move to the next one. Let's see. Let's test Kidu. I want to test Kidu here. If he is there still. Okay. Uh, this one is specially for Kidambi. If you are watching this, Kidu, this is Capablanca versus Reti. What is the special about this tournament? What is the special about this tournament? The question is open to everyone. Yeah, that's true. That's true. That was the game which shattered. Yeah, I mean, whom am I kidding with? You don't want to mess with Kidu in all these things. Yeah, you just don't want to mess with Kidu. Never challenge him. Absolutely. 1922, there was a tournament in London. That was this tournament, and a lot of players played in this tournament. Alekhine played there, UV played there, Capablanca was there. I think Rubenstein was there. Richard Reti was there. So this was the tournament where a lot of players started playing London system, d4 bishop f4, and today London system is very popular, and that's how that's how the London system started. So I just picked up a game. This was not the first game. I think first it was played by someone, and then Alekhine played, and already in round 10, by then they started playing London system against Kings Indian, against QGD, and yeah, this was one of the game, but I thought it's very nice. I guess nowadays they would start with bishop f4. It's interesting, yeah, like even to, I mean, I had this position as black also number of times. Actually, I remember I had some games with, not exactly here, but I played sometimes a6, rook a7, queen a8 as black. So okay, he wants to come for some sort of e5. Rook c1. Hey, thanks, Vashodohan. I'm glad it helped you. Yeah, so again, here maybe there were some other ways, because I think computers were saying at some point to play g4. I don't remember exactly where. Because in the game, Reti had one chance, just one chance. Here he could play queen a8. And I'm not sure what Capablanca was intending, because there is still a pin. And it's not very easy to play. Maybe he missed that after queen a8 there is knight b8. We don't know. But queen a8 was the move. Anyways, once he got the chance, and then the game was again very, very smooth. I like, I'll tell you what I really like here in this game. Yeah, the following move. White to play. Yeah, Vansh, I'll tell you what is Zugzwang in some other stream. Basically, Zugzwang is when you cannot make a move, and everything you make is kind of, uh, either losing, or you're having winning position, drawing. Basically, it deteriorates your position. What did Capablanca play here? Here, the move that Capablanca played is, I think, second or third best move by computer, but the idea is kind of similar. Yeah, Niklesh, King, what you are saying is actually the computer's best choice, but I can imagine going for this. King f1, because he wants to make sure, like king is in the game, and also the bishop. The bishop comes in. Protects. And the bishop finally joins. And now, essentially, this pawn, yeah, it's also, this knight is dead. This pawn is gone. So the rest was matter of technique. Knight b7 is also nice. d6 is hanging, and you cannot take on c6 because of knight d8 fork. So yeah. So yeah, in the game, there is nothing else to see actually. Yeah, here he won. The next one, let's see, what do I have? Yeah, okay. The next one is very famous. I don't want to waste much of your time, because I believe everybody knows this. This is like the fundamental, in Rook Pawn Endgame, in every book. It's very hard to imagine. I cannot even imagine a book where this endgame is not mentioned. So I'll go through it very quickly, because I expect most of you are aware of this thing, this particular game. Oh, Kidu, thanks. Thanks for the information. Incidentally, Laskar used the same system against Reti opening in New York 1924 with colors reversed. Such things you get only, when Kidu is in the chat. So, guys, there is a conspiracy. So, I had sent my YouTube link to him, and I said, if you have time, please join, because I know it's a great thing to have him on the chat to get all this information. I myself get a lot of knowledge. So anyways, this is a very famous game. I will just quickly go through, and if you read some Rook Pawn Endgame books, you will see there is a thing called umbrella, which in Doreski's Endgame manual also he says, and this is a typical example of umbrella. So first of all, takes, and now the first criteria is I want to play for this pawn, and I want to activate my king. So king g3 gives the first pawn, king goes here, Tartakova comes for the next pawn, he gives this pawn as well, takes, and king g5. Now the thing is, right, so this is what is umbrella. The thing is that this pawn is kind of an umbrella, and when I go here on f6, we are kind of saying that this f5 pawn is protecting so that you cannot give any checks. So just imagine this position, if this umbrella will not be there, black will give checks. So, and this is the whole reason why white is winning, because and only now he takes back, because now there is no time for black to go back. Yeah, and he won this game. So this is a very famous endgame. (1927). We are talking about the World Championship match between Alekhine and Capablanca. Remember Capablanca's record? Let me get back to that once again. His ratio of loss was like as low as 6%, and remember that the genius is widely known for his exceptional endgame skill, intuition. So when they played the match, right? When they played the match, just like Karpov-Kasparov match or Fischer-Spassky, the challenger had not won a single game. So Alekhine did not win a single game against Capablanca prior to this match, and Capablanca was clear favorite. So they played in Argentina, and yeah, I think I got this information online that he became a French citizen during the match. So on 5th of November, he became a French citizen, but I don't know how authentic this is. Must be true. So this game was kind of a turning point. Capablanca was already down by 2 points, and he was so much winning. I mean, he could take here and play rook d6. This pawn is hanging. Plays this, takes here, still winning completely. I mean, white is one pawn up, and okay, look at his pieces. So here Kasparov says, yeah, I'll just read it out. It is hard to imagine what can stop white, a reigning world champion, from crushing his opponent in this position. But when you are fighting at the top of chess Olympus, you must learn to expect miracles to the very end. Before the clock is stopped and the opponent resigns the game, it is not over. So this also Fischer said later, yeah, it's not basically until opponent signs the score sheet, it's not over. So okay, we'll see the game. Yeah, nothing can really go wrong. f5 is coming. Rook g6. So yeah, probably on a different day, Capablanca would simply play b4. So rook g6, check. Now, okay, already you cannot go here because there is check. Queen c1, check. And according to Kasparov, history could have been different if Capablanca found the correct move. Here, king e2 is winning because queen takes b2, check is only move. Now king f3, queen b3 check. Queen b3 check is cunning because, okay, I wanted to go to g4 and hide. So queen b3 check, because now if you go here, then black will win because there is pin, yeah. But once your queen is on b3, now I change the plan. Now I don't go via g4. I come via f2. And now I run here. So one can argue, what is the difference? You played king f2 here. Why not to play king f2 here? The difference, right? Now queen d2 check. And the game immediately ends in a draw because now I cannot hide. With the queen on b2, you did not have access to this square. But with the queen on d2, when I go king g1, There is queen d on check, and again I cannot run here because there is queen h5 and this rook will fall. And the game ended in a draw. It's a yeah, it's a tragedy, but okay, what to do. So Capablanca drew this game. But he played a very good game. Let's have a look at that. This is one of my favorite game of Capablanca from the match. Again, don't miss the quote. The king, which during the opening and middle game stage is often a burden because it has to be defended, becomes hey, something is wrong. Becomes in the end game a very important and aggressive piece, and the beginner should realize this and utilize his king as much as possible in the end game. So another thing, Kidu, I saw in your article you mentioned about this Fischer Petrosian. Yeah, both of them you gave. So I thought this is also another similar, right? Both Fischer Petrosian games as white and as black is exactly identical to this also. So what did Capablanca play in this position? White to play. Come on, guys. I should see chat. Yeah, I am seeing chat. If something is relevant, I am reading it. I will definitely not read as such anything which is not. This stream is totally a tribute to Capablanca. So I would like to keep it restricted to that. And my basic aim is to to share the knowledge, and also so that you guys know about Capablanca, learn something about chess, and any other topic yeah, we can address in different when I will do some chill stream. Yeah, isn't it, Kidambi? It's very interesting. Yeah, Ilamparthi, you are right. So once again, yeah, again and again we see in Capablanca's games, yeah, he exchanges this knight for this stupid bishop. But I'm not sure who said this. I think Laskar, but I might be wrong. But the saying goes something like, it's not important what pieces get exchanged, what pieces goes off the board, but what is important is what is remaining at the board. So knight into d7, queen into d7, and now the point is, okay, you have a weakness, and my bishop, since you are missing the light square bishop, this is the weakness. So knight a4, and now we are saying, you have two weaknesses. So this pawn is threatened now. Queen b3, knight d5, take on b5. So again b6 is weak. Of course, unpin yourself. Yeah, Hemant, Fischer Petrosian, it happened twice. One was knight into b2, one was knight into d7, as white and as black, both. So here, and of course, Capablanca will not think twice to take here. Okay, I'll just quickly go through the game. Just see the technique. If there is something important, I'll pause. Okay, just keeping control. King g2, obviously you don't want any rook c1 check kind of thing. So rook a8 is threatened. So remember one thing, in such position, knight is much stronger than the bishop when the pawns are on same side. Only when they're on different side, then you want to keep bishop. But here, given a chance, you always want to keep the knight, because the simple reason, right? The bishop is controlling many squares, but looking at empty squares. There are no targets. There are no targets on the other wing. While the same bishop cannot take care of any white squares, for instance, anywhere. It does not have access. While the knight, it is playing on a smaller zone, So which means when there is pawns on one single side, it's always preferable to have knight. And again, when I say always, in chess there is no fixed set of rule, but still some things are, it's good to know. So yeah, he didn't give the knight, and then knight comes back to d3. Okay, activating rook, and you want to change the rook. So once you change the rook, this is also kind of nice, I feel, because now you can push the pawns freely. Your king is not so weak anymore, because with the queen he cannot do much. Of course, you don't want to change the knight, and now you are looking at this square. You are threatening d5 now. Finally creating passed pawn. But again, see, like he has no rush. He could play d5 here, but just in case. So he created the passed pawn. And yeah, black basically felt, like even if he comes here, the knight is kind of coming. So let me try to change. Very important move now. Immediately get the king. And look at this. Instead of getting the king here, he suddenly changes plan. He realized if this knight would come here from c6, it completely paralyzes the knight, paralyzes the king. Hey, thanks Akash. So knight d4 and knight c6. So with the knight on c6, the king is totally stuck there. Yeah, Harshit, this will be difficult to convert, but that's why you have to see classics. So another thing I wanted to emphasize, yeah, you will not find a single world champion or a player at very high level who has not studied classic. Not a single one. Like they will know their classics. You get Magnus, Anand, Kramnik, Kasparov, it doesn't matter. Read their biography. So they know their classics. They have studied the games. Even Capablanca, right? He knew the games of Steinitz, Lasker, Morphy, Chigorin, etc. And yeah, eventually, this is also very elegant finish. King g7 is d6. Yeah, and then he won. g7, pawn is queening. So this was a nice game, but anyway, Capablanca lost the match, and Alekhine became world champion. It's kind of interesting that after that, Capablanca tried a lot to get world championship, but somehow it did not work out. Bogoljivo, who was then sort of FIDE champion, he got the match, and by the time Capablanca was approaching 50, top of everything, the Second World War happened. So, which kind of meant that even post World War, he also tried to uh, play some games. Tried to get the match, but by then already Botvinnik was coming up, and so there was no chance. And UV became world champion, so Capablanca was hoping he will play with Max Evie, but that also did not happen. Now let's see, Kidu, do you know this one? I'll be very impressed if you know this one also. What Capablanca played here? And why do I have a photo like this? Capablanca is black. Yeah, it's interesting. I mean, Capablanca actually saw both the world wars, like First World War and Second World War, and both the times it's not like he saw one when he was younger and at very old age. So the First World War was when he was about to play a match with Lasker, and the Second World War he was about to play a match with Evie or Alekhine. Yeah, famous blunder. But Kidu, what was written? So he played Bishop A6 here, Capablanca, and Queen A4 happened. Bishop B7, D5. No, his mistress visited, so he blundered, but that's one part of it. The main thing is his wife came to the tournament hall. So apparently, yeah, he was having some affair with some, yeah, like he had some girlfriend there, and he did not know that his wife, all the way from wherever, from Cuba or wherever, and this was in Carlsbad. So she visited, and in the tournament hall, this is Capablanca's version, and it's well documented. Wife visited, and the girlfriend was also there, and his version was, this double attack kind of unnerved him. So yeah, I also wanted to share this story. That as a matter of fact, I don't even know who is this lady in the picture, if this is the wife or just uh, model. I don't know. So the next one the next one is also one of my favorite endgame. Endings of one rook and pawns are about the most common sort of endings arising on the chessboard. Yet, though they do occur so often, few have mastered them thoroughly. They are often of a very difficult nature, and sometimes, while apparently very simple, they are really in uh, they are in reality extremely intricate. This is the model. Yeah, 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 yeah. So, so this endgame is kind of also very instructive. Kappa starts with b5. I don't know how back then they were evaluating this kind of position. I mean, now when we look, we sort of immediately get it. Yeah, black is clearly better, at least from practical point of view. But yeah, Capablanca was simply way ahead of time. Yes, and bringing the king. Remember his quotation on king, that in endgame king is the most active piece in endgame. So white is playing a bit planless, kind of. And again, just like that other game, you remember this Janowski game? He got everything on queen side. He was threatening b4, and then he played h6 g5. This bishop d7 game, the one I showed, yeah, just a few minutes back. Same here. He gets everything. He wants to play some kind of b4 thing, and he says no. Now I have more space, so I can, switch my forces more rather easily. So now I go to king side. Rook d4. This reminds me of that other game we saw in, which was somewhat like anti Berlin, started with Spanish exchange, where the knight was on d5. So this rook on d4 is very nice. And look, the flexibility. Yeah, he says, yeah, b4 is there, but you know what? I am now coming for g4 because my rook is on d4, so this pawn becomes weak. Obviously, he wants to change. No, thank you. I don't want to change. My rook is making sure it can go here. Like it facilitates b4. This pawn is weak. This rook wants to play g4. I mean, helping black to play g4. So g4. Now immediately, instead of g file, he takes care of the h file. Yeah, this I don't know actually, Mayur. Uh, Kidu, is this Khan Ilya Abramovich, from whom Sicilian Khan defense started? I don't know this. Yeah, such a beautiful way. Yeah, now he aims for g2 pawn. The moment this rook tries to defense, he says, yeah, let me get rid of that rook. And now just simply defend. Rook c3. And now he says, my job is done. I have got the file, so let me fix this. Now, look at my rooks and look at your rooks. Your king is like literally stalemated. So now you want to come here, right? Oh, sorry, what am I doing? He wants to play king f3. So rook f1, cut it. Now again, everything is fixed. White gets a passed pawn, but this pawn is not getting anywhere. And now the second force is coming. Yeah, he's trying to play g4, g5, but black pawns are, much faster. White kind of resigned here. So I prepared until here and I kept some backup also. So if you guys want, I can continue, or we can also wrap it up here. Yeah, your choice. While you guys decide what to do, I'll say that Capablanca on 7th March 1942 in Manhattan Chess Club. Actually, you know what? I have played in this chess club. I have played in that very board. They kept it, and I have played a tournament game in that board. It's like huge pieces where the board where Capablanca played the same pieces, and also Fischer played in Marshall Chess Club. Okay, this was in Manhattan Chess Club in New York City. Capablanca suffered a severe headache and became unconscious. And following morning, 8th March, at Mount Sinai Hospital, he died. Laskar had died in the same hospital only a year earlier. The cause of death was given as a cerebral hemorrhage provoked by hypertension. And Havana buried the national hero with state honor. As a matter of fact, I was supposed to make my first visit to Cuba. I want to go to Cuba for, this is one place I wanted to visit. And I was going to play Capablanca Memorial. I was invited, but then the COVID thing happened, and the tournament also got postponed. And they said this March 2021 March, they will have the tournament, but I still don't know if I'll be able to visit Cuba. It was supposed to take place in 2020 March, which I could not go. But anyways, I'm eagerly looking forward to go to Cuba, and when I happen to go there, I will definitely visit this place among many other places that I want to visit in Cuba, in Havana. This is definitely going to be one of my destination. Continue. Sure, I can continue. Let me get to, but I don't have a, yeah, I'll just put it in this board. I don't have any special photos or something. All right. Okay. So let me start with. Let me start from the end. Hang on. What is this? Yeah. Let me start from here. So this game, Priyanshu Dash, thank you. It was very relevant to the stream, and this shows your IQ level. So this game, Nimzovich is white and Capablanca is black, and yeah, black to play. It's kind of interesting what black played. What would you play as black? Black to move, guys. Queen g4, Harshit. Interesting, but he'll play f3, yeah? Yeah, Shomojit Dash, Queen e6 was played in the game. It's very interesting the way Capablanca looked at this position. So he realized, I mean, again, these are my interpretation. I can be completely wrong. Ilampati, your move is also very, very logical. You want to come for this pawn. I think the way Capablanca was thinking, like this bishop is very strong, and that is my compensation. So, which means my ideal sequence would be if I can get my knight here. Now, imagine if I can get my this knight here protected, then black is completely stuck. And since the queen is here, this means the knight on d7 is a fantastic square because it threatens knight c5, as well it threatens knight b6, knight c4. With that logic, queen e6, attacking here. Again, I mean, these are my interpretation. Maybe for Capablanca it was, like, yeah, queen e6 is natural, let's play it. And yeah, now knight e5 comes with a tempo. And knight c4. So, and then rook a8 because you want the other rook to be on b8. So what was very interesting for me, that look at this position. Like literally within, like within 4 or 5 moves, how the position changed, yeah? Attack, open up the diagonal, attack, attack, change the, get the other rook. And once again, so this is the beauty, yeah? He got this knight all the way, like he did all this drama to, and we said this bishop is actually stupid. I mean, look at our bishop, yeah? So he gets this f6 knight, he gets it by playing queen e6, gets the knight all the way to c4, gets the rook, and then takes it. So what kind of flexibility, yeah? So there is no rigidness. He's not thinking, like I took so much time to get the knight on c4, now let it rest there, like thoda, like let it chill a bit. No, nothing like that. My job was to go there. Now I am seeing I will just take it and forget that other position. Now look at this position, like a fresh mind. Now if you look at this position on a fresh mind, this is a monster. And very important move, queen c4. So now every time I will be threatening to take here. Threatening, yeah, I will not be taking. I will be threatening to take there. So rook fd1. Rook comes to the file. So brilliant, yeah, like it comes here all the way, takes it, queen gets to the square, and rooks are in place. Yeah, exactly. Depression bhau. Kappa seems emotionally strong. That's what, like, their generally mind is very flexible. Bishop d4 check. See what he has done to the position, yeah, and it is, yeah. Then I guess Nimzovich didn't even know what to do here. And guys, Nimzovich is a great player. I mean, literally, I can make another stream on Nimzovich, and you will see how strong Nimzovich was. So they were like really, really strong players. So this game was also one of my favorite, and I like the way. And again, it's very difficult to say where white went wrong. I'm sure again if we do it check with computer, we'll find a that specific thing where it went wrong. But again, that has got nothing to do with Capablanca's play. This one against Ivanovic, yeah, this is actually also very interesting. Nikhil Sharma, I'll tell you why I am so energetic. Now, if you give me something that is not interesting for me, I'll not be energetic. But the thing that is happening right now, you wake me up at 2 o'clock and you give me this, I'll still be energetic. Because for me, this is very, very exciting. I really love it. Like, even the streaming, right? You can imagine, if I want to do a chill stream, or I want to, solve some puzzles, or, just chit chat. It's very easy to do, to be honest, because I don't need any preparation. I can simply come and talk. But to actually prepare this, to actually, go through all the games, select the position, it takes lot of time and effort. And honestly, I do it. The primary reason is I actually love to do it. I really like going through these games. I was actually reading. I was reading a lot of books. Like, okay, this one, for instance, the predecessors, then Capablanca's books, and going through his games. As a matter of fact, I got to know so many things, which I did not know before. I was reading Kidu's article, which is pinned, and I would recommend every single one who is seeing the stream should definitely read that article once this is over. So yeah, I that's how I'm energetic. Like, I enjoy it. Okay, this game, yeah. This was a cute game actually. Takes e5. So this one is a bit simple one. Okay, you are threatening queen f5. You are kind of attacking on both sides, like c8 and h7, e6. Just an instructive game. It's not like, I wouldn't consider this one like the previous one, but still. Knight f5, you cannot take queen f5, and that's mate. Yeah, this was just a cute tactics I wanted to show. Alright, okay, white to play. By the way, guys, if you like the stream, do press the like button and do subscribe. It helps to grow the channel, and also it gets more reach. Yeah, Ilambati, right. Yeah, queen c6, yeah. Simple. Going for fork. Oh, Argodeep joined. Thanks, Argodeep. What, you joined just now or what, Argodeep? Arghyadeep is also my training partner. Sorry, this we saw. Let's see this one. Again with Nimzovic. I don't think anybody will play bishop d3 nowadays. But okay. This is wonderful French. Harshit, it was simple. With practice, you will get there. Hey, thanks, Nikhil. Yeah, this game is kind of strange when I saw first time, because I felt usually Nimzovic was playing like this as black. And this was like beating Nimzovic in his own style. Yeah, so here Capablanca says, at last black is fully developed, and with the possibility of castling on either side open to him, In such positions, it is generally better to retard castling as long as possible in order to compel the opponent guard against both possibilities. Besides, should a general exchange take place bringing about a rook ending, the king would be then better placed where it is, right in the center of the board. Thanks once. So rook d1, g6. Exactly what he said, yeah. No rush. Neither side he wants to castle. So now g4. So only when white plays g4. Now Capablanca says white has. This is interesting. He says white has accepted the invitation to drive away the knight. He probably considered that if he did not drive away the strongly posted knight, black would have played h5, and then the knight would be a source of trouble for the rest of the game. Black has considered other factors before allowing this move. He felt that after the exchange of the knight for the bishop, he would play h5, forcing white to play g5. As a result, white's f pawn will be weak. The whole king side would be open to any black pieces. Whole king side will be open to any black piece able to enter the territory. It is true that it does not seem possible for black to penetrate white's defense, but black felt there would be a way to do it. His judgment was vindicated since he was able to prove that white's stronghold could be conquered with what, and that weak f pawn combined with the exposed position of white's king side would be the cause of white downfall. All right. So basically, yeah, he says, otherwise he would have played h5. And after g4, Capablanca realized that takes, I'll go h5, I'll go g5. And then this pawn becomes permanently weak. And the king side will be weak too. So here. Yeah, he wants to double, clearly. Yeah, this game, I think initially Capablanca was not sure like what plan to opt for, but then he eventually figured out. So I think the game is very instructive from here. And also see like his last two moves. Yeah, he plays knight a5, rook e8. And now he realizes probably that, yeah, I mean, I can put my knight to c4, but he will go queen f2. And now he changes the plan. So mind is very flexible once again. Come back, yeah. Whatever is gone, gone. I went from c6 to f5. It doesn't mean that I cannot come back. Again, came back from c8 to a8. So basically, it takes really an open mind to play like this, and then again, say, nothing happened. It's fine. Oh, Harshit, maybe in some other stream I'll answer your question. This stream is a tribute to Kappa, and I'll just stick to that. King g7 again, no rush. a5. I am gaining space as much as possible in every aspect. And knight f5. Yes. Again, so much of flexibility in mind, yeah. He doesn't care. I mean, if you play queen h5, I have rook h8. You have to go queen f3 and then rook h4. And then this pawn is falling. So queen f3. Now king g6. It's fine. I'll just protect the pawn. And I still have this weakness. Black forces a second exchange in order to work his queen into white's position. The situation is most interesting. Whether white exchanges rooks now or later he always loses because of the fact that all the resulting queen endgames are lost for white, owing to his weak f pawn. Basically, yeah, this pawn is super weak. So queen is kind of making an entry. If rook d4, there is rook e2. This is like a pure masterpiece, yeah. And of course, everything is tied down, so you start again, start on the other side. Yeah, basically nothing to show anymore. Ah, yeah, this I did not know. Apparently, for this game, Black was awarded the special prize for the tournament. Yeah, that's kind of nice. Uh all right, guys. So I think that will be it. Let me see if I have shown. Yeah, Sultan Khan I said, his Capablanca's death I said, and all right. How was it? Did you enjoy? Did you enjoy? Knowing about the genius and why he was genius. So, what do you think? When I started the stream, how much you knew about Capablanca, and now that we are about to finish, do you think you have learned something? You have learned about this great world champion from Cuba. Thanks, Kirambi. It means a lot when it comes to you, comes from you. Uh, Once again, guys, please do not forget to check Kirambe's article, because you will see actually different games. I particularly made a point that I don't include most of those games. I think I picked maybe one or two, but it's a fantastic article. So just quickly go through it. I have pinned it on my live chat, so you will get there. And yeah, so in general, I really love this kind of streams. Of course, it requires, as I said, more effort and more work. Uh, but it's very interesting for me. I personally get to learn a lot, and you know, going through these games are good for your chess, irrespective of what is your rating. Like if you are unrated or if you are 2600 plus, it doesn't matter. It really doesn't matter. And if even if you see it, couple of times, repetition doesn't harm. So I tell this to every young player. Once again, it doesn't matter what is their elo rating. So learn classics, forget openings. Learn classics, learn endgames, do tactics. Openings will be there. I mean, you will anyway be learning openings after a certain level. But these classics and endgames, if you do not know, you know basically, if you know these things, it's kind of nice. Thanks, Argodeep. So with that note, I'll end the stream. Samay is streaming. No, I want Samay to end his stream as quickly as possible, because tomorrow he has a round. So definitely, this is the thing that I'm not doing. Even if he invites me, I'm not joining him, because I want him to take rest and play well tomorrow. That's more important than streaming. Yeah, I would love to do some streams like this, because so there are few aspects, right? Like, so one is chill stream. These are good. Those also I like, but I also absolutely love this kind of streams where it is very rich chess wise, and forces me to work also on such stream. Like, I cannot simply come without preparation. So these are my actually favorite streams. If I have to pick any solo stream, I would actually pick these streams. And I'm glad after I made the Tal stream, it gave me confidence that, like, even if I do a solo stream on which will be totally on chess, still you guys will be watching. So thanks for joining, guys, and with that note, have a good night, and bye bye. See you soon. Take care. Did I miss any questions or any super chats? Right, I think I probably got most of them. But anyways, if you have some question, do ask me now. Like, I'll be happy to answer. Even if you have something about some games, do you can quickly ask me. Yeah, I remember somebody was saying about some particular endgame rook. And if there are no questions, then I say bye bye. Make a series of this type of streams. Yeah, I can do that. I was mainly doing, like, the other day it was Michael Tal's birthday, so I did on Tal, and today it was on Capablanca. Book, well, this was My Great Predecessors by Kasparov, the first volume. I think it has. Was it first volume? Yeah, it's the first volume. Yeah, and okay, also I have lots of other materials, so from there I kind of took it. All right, guys, take care, and yeah, see you soon. Bye bye. Good night.